Welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube and Instagram, with new episodes on Tuesdays. All right, so I would actually say that this could have been a part 1, part 2, to be continued. Like with bad girls and consequences.
Ah, yes. Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah. I think it was like pretty like this is a sequel to Bad Girls. This is Consequences.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying with that. Yep.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I don't think it was anything about a 2-parter, but it felt like it could have been.
I liked Bad Girls better though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wasn't as huge of a fan of this episode.
Yeah, it was like none of the, well, I don't want to say fun, but yeah, it was like all the grown-up consequences of going wild. Girl, like Slayer's gone wild. So not as fun. Okay, so Consequences originally aired February 16th, 1999, written by Marty Noxon and directed by Michael Gershom. And the synopsis is Buffy is haunted by the consequences of her consequences of her and Faith's reckless behavior as she battles with Faith's apparent lack of remorse to keep her from continuing her destructive path. Meanwhile, the new Watcher, Wesley, overrides Giles' objections and instructs Buffy and Faith to get to the bottom of the recent murder, while the mayor and Mr. Trick are thrilled by the possibility of imprisoning a Slayer for the murder.
Yeah. Interesting episode. There was a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started the episode off with a previously on, like a pretty hefty previously on about Giles getting fired. So we're like reminded, like, who's Wesley? Who's this guy? Why is he here? So we get reminded that Giles got fired, that Wesley showed up and he's the new Watcher. And of course, like that Faith had just killed someone in the last episode and doesn't seem to care about it. So that's where they caught us up. We open in a dream sequence where Buffy is like struggling in the water, struggling
trying to swim, trying to get to the surface.
Yeah, and Alan, the guy that was murdered, was pulling her like legs down,
scrubbing her ankle.
Yeah, and then she manages to surface, and she comes face to face with Faith, who just puts her hand on her head and pushes her back down in the water and tries to drown her,
which seems
like everything you need to know.
Foreshadowing, honestly.
Yeah, everything you need to know is in this dream. So Buffy wakes up at home and she's kind of distressed by the dream. And she hears the TV. She goes out into the hallway and her mom is in her room watching the TV. And it's the news is saying that they found Alan's body.
Of course they did.
And he's been like identified. So Faith didn't do a very good job of getting rid of the body.
No.
Literally like the same night, I think, or something. Like it was like, this is only like a day ago.
I mean, she doesn't seem like someone who'd be good at hiding a body. She's too reckless and careless. So
that's a good point. Yeah, right. Okay, this is why I was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like she is somebody that would hide a body, but I guess it wouldn't stay hidden. I
feel like she could hide a body if she
needed to. She did.
Gave effort.
Yeah, she did hide it. It just didn't stay hidden.
Okay, so I feel like she could do a better job if she put some energy into it.
If she just just tapped into her potential, she could really hide a dead body well. She doesn't give herself the credit. So Alan's body's been found, so Buffy is like, uh-oh, this is not good. We go to the credits, and we come back into the library. And we notice in this scene, too, like, Buffy is very, like, unresponsive, and you can tell she's, like, really struggling with guilt about being even, like, a part of this whole situation.
Wesley's trying to ask her, like, oh, you should look into this murder thing, and she's like, that's not my jurisdiction.
Yeah, and, like, Giles agrees with her. Like, we have no reason to believe it was supernatural. We don't go hunting for, like, human killers. Like, that's just not really... That's what the police are for, and that's what they're looking into. Yeah. But Wesley does think it was supernatural, or it could be, and so he wants Faith and Buffy to investigate it. And yeah, Wesley and Giles kind of butt heads a bit.
And Wesley says he's not asking, though.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not asking for your opinion on whether this is like their, wheelhouse or not. I'm the Watcher, and I'm gonna tell them what to do. And Cordy walks in looking for books on Freud and Jung.
And she sees Wesley.
Yeah, and she runs into Wesley, and he immediately is like, ooh.
Smitten kitten.
Yeah. And she's intrigued. She's like,
She is.
Yeah. You can
Which is
tell
interesting because he doesn't seem like her type.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe she's branching out because Xander wasn't her type and Wesley definitely isn't her type either. So,
I mean, Xander's at least in high school.
I don't even, well, she does, like right away, she does know he's a watcher, but Wesley thinks she's a psychology teacher until Giles, he loved it, I think. Just like walking behind him, he's like, she's a student. And he's like, oh, take your hand away. Like, he's shaking her hand. He like, whoop, removed his hand real quick. But yeah, there's some feelings there. Or like, some initial like sparkage there.
So I was wrong with the question of last week.
Yeah. Yes. Thankfully. Yeah. So it's Wesley and Cordy that have a little bit of a crush on each other. So we'll see what happens with that.
I'm guessing nothing.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Oh, okay. Is that allowed?
No.
Wesley seems very by the books.
Well, I think I read somewhere that if based on other information that we get in the series, that Cordelia is probably 18 by this point already, technically.
Really? Because I think in American high school, I thought you guys only do the 4 years, right?
Yeah,
Grades
but you're either 17 or 18 when you graduate, depending on where your birthday falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can be 18 and graduate. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're gonna go investigate, and actually Faith surprisingly is like, yeah, it's fine, we'll investigate it. Like, she doesn't put up any fight when Buffy's trying to like push this away from them. Faith is kind of just fine with investigating something that she committed.
Yeah.
So they leave and they go into a classroom immediately, and Buffy just wants to tell Giles. She's like, he will help us like deal with the situation, and Faith says no, and Bunna says like, you know what, you're in this just as much as me. Like, trying to like tie her to like the risk, like they both did it together. Yeah, which is not the case, but yeah. So in the student lounge, we see Buffy approach Willow, and it's awkward. So I think
Willow seems unimpressed.
She's been very like, Buffy has blown Willow off several times already.
Hurt
to hang out with her, just hang out with Faith. So Willow is not happy about that, and you can tell there's some weird tension here. And Buffy tries to talk to her, and Willow says, oh, I'm late. I'm still trying to de-rat Amy, so I'm going to meet with Michael, who's the other, like, warlock guy that got beat up in Gingerbread. No, not Gingerbread. Gingerbread? Yes, Gingerbread. Yeah. Got beat up. And, so they're trying to work on de-ratting Amy, so Willow makes a hasty exit. And Buffy, like, can tell that there's more to the story. It's very obvious that there's tension there. So we go to the crime scene, like the dumpster where Alan was murdered, and we see the cops talking to each other, talking to a witness who said they heard a scream or a yell, and that possibly could have been Buffy saying, Faith, no. Yeah. And we see Angel kind of lurking in the background.
He's watching
to see what's going on, and then he has the memory of running into Buffy in this area that night, and that she had blood on her hands.
So he kind of...
He's
just connecting or thinking.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah.
At City Hall, we have Mayor Wilkins shredding
machine.
It's funny. He's like, this usually makes me feel better. Matt does the same thing. He's like, oh, it makes him happy to shred things.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just fun. Like, and it's so funny. I laughed when I watched this because I totally had no recollection of this moment. And I just, because you got a shredder, like, God, like, a year and a half ago, Matt's always, I'm like, here, you want to shred this? And he's like, yeah, ooh. So it's just so funny because it has that effect on a lot of people that they like to shred things in the shredder. So, it's not working though. Like, the mayor's upset.
Not making him happy there.
It's always, this is like a sure thing.
Not cheering him up.
It's not working.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of like tricking the mayor, or kind of talking about like, what was Alan up to? Like, what was he doing? Like, was he trying to like inform on them? Like, what was he doing? Like, they don't really know what he was up to when he got killed. And Mr. Trick says that he has something that will cheer him up. And he shows him the coroner's report, and it showed that Alan had like wood splinters in his wound, his stab wound. So they put two and two together. It's like, probably was a stake.
Yeah.
We know the Slayers were hunting vampires in that area that night.
Some sort of sharp, blunt object to the heart, maybe?
Yeah, so, very possible that it was a Slayer that did this. Yes, we could actually put a Slayer in prison for murder and get them out of the way.
Makes them so happy.
If you let's pretend that Faith isn't around or whatever. If you put Buffy in jail, another Slayer isn't called, and she can't. Yeah. So you just put her on a shelf, and the problem's gone.
I guess that's true.
She would have to die for another Slayer to be called. So,
or just take her out of commission, basically.
Yeah. So that seems like a pretty good deal for them. They like that. So Buffy, and at the same time, Xander. At the same time, Buffy and Faith are break into Alan's office because they are supposed to investigate, air quotes, this. And Faith is being very callous about him.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like she's obviously just trying to masquerade how she's really feeling.
Yeah, because she does have a moment when she goes to his desk and picks up the picture of him and Alan and the mayor. And she's like, it happened so fast. She's like, it just happened fast. And then she immediately snaps back into like, oh, I did a favor, or like just like weird stuff she keeps saying to like just play down the fact that she killed somebody.
Yeah.
So Buffy,
she says he's boring.
Yeah, he's boring. Like,
but Buffy thinks that he was actually looking for them.
It's possible.
So, yeah.
So Buffy goes through the filing cabinets, and all of Alan's files are gone. Mm-hmm. And she thinks that's suspicious that all his stuff has been cleared out. Like, why? Like, very, very soon. They go to leave, because I think that's like suspicious. They go to leave, but they see Mr. Trick and the mayor leaving his office together. So they quickly hide. So the mayor has been outed at this point, because they know Mr. Trick's a vampire, a bad vampire, and he's in cahoots with the mayor somewhere. So the mayor does not have, like, the element of surprise anymore. Whatever he's planning. Like, they know that he's bad now.
Yeah.
In the street, Buffy and Faith kind of talk about that. They're like, whoa, who knew the mayor was a black hat? Like, didn't really get that vibe from him at all. Mm-hmm. And they talk about, like, oh, you don't know what somebody's, like, real face is like. And Buffy kind of uses that as a segue again to, like, say, well, I don't think this is your real face. I think you're, like, really hurting and all of this about the, about the murder. And, like,
she thinks that Faith isn't processing it, really.
Yeah. Please let me tell Giles. He can help us. And Faith's like, you know what? Like, this is going to blow over. And she's like, if it doesn't blow over, Faith's like, I'll just run, basically. I'm going to hop on I'm going to go to the docks, hop on a barge, and take off if it doesn't, like, go away on its own.
Well, and then, I mean, I like Buffy's surprised that she's not more upset, but I like how Faith is kind of like, well, like, we, like, basically saved thousands. Buffy stopped the world from ending. It puts them in the plus column, right?
Yeah, this whole thing about when there are mistakes.
Yeah. This
is not the last time that we will get this kind of comment about how the scales tip, even when something bad happens.
Yeah.
And does that mean it's okay?
No, and that's what Buffy said. Buffy's like, we can't do whatever we want.
Yeah. So yeah, this is something that comes up at least one more time that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
Where Buffy's upset about something that happened, and someone is trying to say it doesn't tip the scale, and she's just not interested in hearing that at all.
Well, because she has morals and ethics and a conscience. And Faith is just like, she thinks that they're better than everyone else.
Yeah, she's a superiority complex.
Some random guy that got caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, she's like, we are the law. And it's weird in this conversation a little bit, because they are kind of making it come across like Faith meant to kill this guy. Like, it was an accident. She's not taking responsibility for the accident, but it still was an accident.
I think this is also her way of, like, just making her feel better about what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think it was an accident, but, like, for her to be able to, like, I guess, move on, and what she's trying to do, and not get stuck, then maybe it's easier for her to, I don't know, pretend like it was.
If she did something wrong, if she did nothing wrong, there's nothing to take responsibility for.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly perfect. Yeah. Yep. That's what it is, I
guess. So, but yeah, they're fighting about that. Like, he's just collateral damage. Buffy's very upset by it.
Yeah.
And Faith is trying to be like, hey, it happens. We are superheroes essentially, and some people get caught in the crossfire. Buffy isn't happy with that explanation. So Buffy goes home, and the cops are there.
Yeah.
Same cop that has been to Buffy's house for murder suspect Buffy several times. And he questions Buffy, and then also that is interspersed with Faith being questioned about where she was.
They kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, because I think like Trick and the mayor like gave a little bit of a tip off to the police, so they led kind of to Buffy and Faith, and they both lie, so they were with each other, but they were just like watching TV. Faith says a old movie, and Buffy said an infomercial.
Yeah,
didn't match up. No. But so they can't really pin them down on anything. So they said they know that they were near the alley. Yeah, the cops are basically like, if you know anything, let us know. And Buffy's like, sorry, can't help you. And so all they can do at the moment with her is question her. So they leave, and Angel is seeing the cops leaving her house. Mm-hmm. At Willow's, Buffy comes over, and Buffy's obviously troubled and wants to talk. And Willow thinks it's about their relationship.
Mm-hmm. I mean, of course she does, because Buffy should maybe realize that Willow's feelings are hurt and apologize, or not necessarily apologize, but acknowledge maybe.
I just want since this thing happened, I think there's no bandwidth for Buffy to deal with Willow's feelings.
Not. Yeah. Willow doesn't realize something
before.
Bigger. Yeah, Willow doesn't. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Willow doesn't realize something like bigger than that happened.
Yeah, but this was happening before Alan was murdered, so Buffy should have done something then as well. But that's what Willow's like, what else could she be over here for? Things are weird between us. Mm-hmm. So she just starts babbling that, I'm having a hard time with you blowing me off for Faith and all this. And then Buffy just like blurts out a confession.
Yep.
That she's in trouble. And she just came to Willow she can't tell anybody. She hasn't told anyone, so she wants to get it off her chest. And Willow, I mean, this was Buffy's instinct. It was the correct instinct, but obviously
talk to Giles.
You have to go to Giles.
Obviously. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah. So I think with that second push, or that second opinion, she does decide to go to Giles.
So she does go to Giles, and this next scene.
This is the scene.
I will tell our listeners that while I was watching this scene, I texted Ashley, and I was like, Faith is a bee. We're so mad at her.
Yeah. So we go to the library, and Buffy is Giles walks out of his office into like where the front desk is, and Buffy just starts saying, "I need to tell you something. I've messed up." And he's like, I know. And she's like, you do? And then Faith rolls out of the office saying, I told him what you did.
Yeah. Looking all like, what does she look like? Just like carefree. And yeah, I took responsibility for you and your actions.
Yeah. She's like, I had to tell him. And it is funny because I think Faith in this, Elijah Dushku is really good in this scene. Because I do see that. I do see like the laissez-faire attitude, but the she knows that she really badly betrayed her. You can see that on Faith's face, I think. And Buffy's like, what I did?
Yep.
And Giles just shuts it down, tell Faith to leave, tell Buffy to get into his office.
And he's upset.
Obviously, yeah, as you would be. But Giles, after Faith has leave, Giles like, I know it wasn't you.
Whew, yeah, this gave me some relief because I was like, oh my God, is Giles actually going to believe Faith over Buffy?
He's like, she's not a good liar.
Yeah.
So Faith just went to throw Buffy under the bus.
Yeah,
it got a little more real when the cops were sniffing around. It got a little more real, and she's like, I need a scapegoat stat, and there's only one.
Wow. I really liked her, and like I was able to look past some of her things before, but not anymore.
Mm-hmm. This is pretty bad.
Yeah, this is after everything Buffy's done for her.
Yeah, she's tried to help her in this situation alone. Mm-hmm. Has done so tried. Has tried to do so much other stuff for her, and she's a sacrificial lamb for her. So Giles says we have to play along because I don't know what she'll do if she thinks if she knows that everyone
she's unstable.
Her. She's unstable.
She's in denial.
Mm-hmm. And they're trying to be like, okay, what can we do? Buffy's like, maybe I can talk to her, but maybe I'm too close. Maybe one of the gang can talk to her, which I thought was a really weird suggestion. I know it's a thread it's a needle that we will thread with Xander later, but it just, I get story-wise, but it is weird because like she doesn't hang out with any of them.
No,
and
she doesn't.
Buffy knows nothing about Xander and Faith, so that was a weird like suggestion.
I guess she was just trying to grasp at straws.
I guess so, because Faith isn't close with literally anybody but like Buffy, and if you even say they're close, so yeah, like who else is there? But they're talking about this, and we go out to the main part of the library, and we see Wesley is overhearing.
He overhears things.
Yes, so he knows what's happened. We go to Wesley's hotel room, and we see that he is calling Quentin. Another thing that Giles says in the library was that, as tragic as it isn't the first time that's happened, because obviously the Slayer is on the front of a nightly battle, and accidents happen. So basically, he says what happens is usually he's not going to involve the council because he doesn't work for the council anymore, so he doesn't have to answer them. But he says usually the council will investigate and punish the Slayer if it's deemed necessary.
Right.
So in this situation, I don't see that Faith would have, for what actually happened, not how like she's been acting and what she's done after the fact. I don't think she would have been. It was an accident. Yeah. So I think, in another circumstance, the act itself wouldn't have, got her put away or something. But so they don't really know what they're going to do because Faith, that's, then she goes on to say that she's unstable and everything. So we go to the Wesley's hotel room, as I said, and he's calling Quentin Travers, the head of the council, to tell him all about this. Yeah, and he's like, the code word is monkey. So yeah, I guess they were like, anybody could just call this number and ask for the guy by name, but you need the code word. This is a top secret society after all, Kimmy. You just like call up and get connected to Travers. So in the cafeteria, the gang, so it's Willow, Buffy, Xander, and Giles. Who knows where Oz is? He's wolfing out or he's playing on his guitar. I don't see Oz in this episode. Is talking about who should talk to Faith.
Well, and Xander brings up that he should because he thinks because they have a connection.
Air quotes.
And they very quickly figured that Xander and Faith slept together. Willow looks disappointed? Something.
Shocked.
I don't know.
Hurt.
Something. Yes.
It stung. It stung for sure.
Yeah.
And poor Buffy has to break it to him like, she doesn't really take those connections very serious.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she has some connections. This isn't a, special thing for her.
She connects physically with people. But she doesn't like connect emotionally with the people that she has connections with, Xander. As though she's trying to like talk around it.
Yeah.
And Xander is just kind of like, oh, okay. He kind of seems like disappointed that she said that.
So then we get to the girls' washroom.
Yeah, and I don't know if anything actually comes from this. I don't remember, but Giles asks Willow to go through the mayor, try to like hack into the mayor's files.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, we go to the bathroom and Willow's in the crying.
Why is she crying?
I think
because she found out Xander.
Yeah.
And Faith slept together. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if really when they got caught, if like the feelings like totally went away. I think this was probably the death of that, like the nail in the coffin for Willow. Maybe because she was trying to like. Obviously, Cordy got hurt. There was a lot of fallout from her and Xander's canoodling, and but I think she always before Oz, during Oz, before Oz 2.0, when they were broken up or whatever, she always had feelings for Xander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think this might be a death of that, Yeah. So, okay. So she's upset.
And Xander also looks upset, actually.
Yeah, and Xander's realizing that he was used.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how he wouldn't have known that already. He was literally shoved out in his underwear.
Yeah.
After she had her way with him.
She was
so,
like, bye,
I got a shower. And he just, so shocker. But that,
Yeah.
Not surprised, it's Xander. So at Faith's hotel, Xander goes over there to talk anyway, even though he knows that Faith murdered someone and this was not sanctioned visit by the gang.
No. He's kind of dumb.
He's flying by the seat of his pants. He goes over there to try to reason with her. And Faith is like, oh, you mean because Buffy killed that guy? He's like, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I heard that version. And she just kind of like loses it and like throws Xander on the bed.
Starts like choking him.
Before even that, she's like kissing him and he's like, no. So she's like,
oh, right.
Forcing herself on him.
Yeah.
And then she starts to choke him, like literally choke him. And Xander is like struggling to breathe.
Yep.
And somebody knocks her out. And we see that it's Angel.
Yeah. So Angel saves Xander.
At the mansion, Angel has Faith chained up, just like almost exactly how Buffy had Angel chained up when he came back from the Hell Dimension. And he's trying to reason with her. Again, like how many people are we going to try to reason with her?
She jokes around.
Yeah, not taking it seriously. He's not.
She knew he wasn't a one slayer kind of guy. What? Oh my God. That's not even.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just totally.
Faith. Stop it.
Yeah. And he's killed a lot of people. She's killed one person that we know of. And so he's trying to like tell her how that made him feel. He understands like maybe what she's feeling, like the rush and adrenaline of like taking a life, and that she's experienced that. But yeah, she's not playing. She's not playing the game with him. She's like not interested. So Buffy's outside. He goes out to tell her like, I don't know. I'm gonna keep trying. I don't know if this is gonna work. But Buffy is gonna go get some stuff, a face from her room, so we can be like, make her more comfortable and stuff. Yep. Angel does not have high hopes.
Nope.
That he's gonna be able to like connect with her. At City Hall, Mayor Wilkinson and Mr. Trick see the footage that Buffy and Faith were in the City Hall and saw them together. Yep. And they're like, that's not good. Now they know that we're in cahoots together.
Yep. And so the mayor tells Mr. Trick to deal with the Slayers.
Yeah, get them out of my way. At the mansion, Angel compares himself to Faith, his experiences when he didn't have a soul.
No, well, he's talking about it's almost like a drug to kill without remorse. Like you feel like a god. And she says, "I hope evil takes MasterCard." Okay, Faith.
And I think that when he said that, it kind of clarified a bit for me because I'm like, why is everyone acting like she did it on purpose? Mm-hmm. Like she obviously didn't do it. She's not dealing with that fact. Yeah, that it happened at all, but she didn't do it on purpose. And I think the thing that I would think I was kind of missing was that it's not that she didn't do it on purpose. It was that she has no remorse for it even happening.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
I guess is what in my mind I was like, why are they acting like she did it on purpose? And it's her reaction to it actually.
And I feel like Angel actually understands this.
Yeah, because he killed without remorse for a long time. So he gets it. And he says that, after he got his soul, he just thought, basically the world was just people are just hurt to hurt each other. Mm-hmm. But he came to Sunnydale and he realized some people are good. So he kind of restored his faith in humanity again. So he's basically saying I've been there where you are, but you can come back from that and believe that not humanity's bad. We know that we don't know the details, but Faith, we can imagine she's had a very rough upbringing. Very
different than Buffy. Buffy had it pretty good.
A support system at the very least.
Exactly.
So the council barges in, two guys and Wesley, and they arrest Faith, and they kind of throw a net over Angel and trap him, so he can't do anything. So they run off with Faith. They put her in a van, and there's another guy there that kind of is gonna tighten Faith's shackles, and she basically
says he wants to help her.
Yeah, Wesley says he wants to help her, and she's actually gonna go to England. They're gonna send her to the council in England to be put on trial essentially or investigated. And so that guy goes to tighten her holds, and she is able to wrestle him down with her feet and gonna pop his head with her foot.
She knocks him out.
If Wesley doesn't let her go. So Wesley gives her the keys, and after a short little squabble, she just jumps out the back of the van.
No, and he's like, you can't keep running, which is true.
She's like, oh, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. Okay, so at the mansion, Buffy returns with Faith's stuff to find Angel, just still under that net, all trapped, and Faith is gone. So they all meet up at the library, or to get Faith back from Wesley, and because they're like, this is not, but we need to handle this in-house, kind of. Like, we can't have her being sent off to the thing. We can help her. And Willow's kind of like, she killed someone. She hurt Xander, and we see Xander, and he has, like, bruises all over his neck. Yeah, I mean, Slayer strength, like, she was, like, strangling him.
Yep.
Because she could, basically. So she's like, shouldn't she go to jail? And Buffy's like, she's out of control, but we need to take care of it, like, in-house, basically. Wesley saunters in, saying that Faith escaped. Great. Now nobody has her.
Buffy divvies everybody up to try to find her.
Yeah, and Buffy says she probably went to the docks, because that's what Faith said she was going to do. Like, she's going to hop on a barge and get out of town. So Buffy is going to go to the docks to see if she's there. We go to the docks, and she runs right into Faith pretty quickly and tries to get her to stop from running.
I know, and Faith is like, you don't give up, do you? And Buffy's like, none of my friends know. Like, the fact that Buffy still considers her a friend, still is trying to help her. Oh, man. If someone had done what she did, I don't know if I could forgive so easily. Yeah,
and I think also, like, Buffy's like, we are two of a kind. We are the only two.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't sympathize with you or try to help you, or, like, who can?
I guess that's true.
Yeah, only two that exist.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that, too. But Faith is really, in this scene, trying to tell Buffy, like, don't act like you don't have it in you. Like, the violence. And we've seen Faith do this before. Like, also have this conversation. Like, how much she likes the violence, and trying to tell Buffy that. Don't pretend like you don't like the violence. Like, you don't like beating the demons up, and it feels good to kill. And Buffy's very much like, no, I don't. Saying that there's not that side of her, and Faith is very much like, it is in you. Like,
she just pushes.
Yeah, she keeps pushing it, like that. Buffy has some degree of that in her too, and Buffy doesn't want to hear it. So they're kind of bickering about this, and Buffy sees like a big net of like different crates and stuff. You know, like they like lift them up to put them on the ship, is falling, and Buffy shoves Faith out of the way, and the crates like fall into Buffy and trap her. And then they're attacked by vampires. So I think there's 2, and then there's Mr. Trick. So I think there's 3. And Buffy is trying to get out from under the crates while Faith is fighting the other vampires. Mr. Trick is like...
Buffy did slap Faith before that happened, though.
Oh, that's right. It's been a while since I watched this episode.
Because Faith just pushed her so much that Buffy just, bam. That's right. I was like, okay, now it's even.
Yeah. Buffy's like, yeah, you know what? I do like violence. This does feel good.
Push me hard enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, sorry. The important part of that. So Buffy's trapped under the crates, and Trick is like, oh, Slayer immobilized. I'm gonna skittle over there and try to kill this Slayer. And he gets Buffy up, and Buffy's trying to like regroup from being smashed by all these crates. And
she's attacked.
He's attacked, and she's trying to like still fight him. Faith is managing to like, kill the other vampires, and she comes up behind Trick and kills him, saving Buffy.
Saves Buffy. Yep.
She's saving Buffy.
Because he had something around her neck. It was
like
oh yeah, like
it was like one of the it's kind of like a luggage strap, but for those big. It's funny because it was the exact same color as his tie, and I'm like, why is his tie so long? So we go to the library, and Buffy is talking to Giles, and they've already had a conversation, but basically he's saying that, okay, you managed to keep her in town. So there was a conversation afterwards that we didn't see where Buffy convinced Faith not to fly the coop.
And she's not going to give up on Faith.
Yeah, and Buffy thinks that there's hope because she saved her from Trick. She could have just left her there to die, and she didn't. So this really like makes Buffy feel like, okay, there's something there still that she's good. And so yeah, Giles is apprehensive a little bit, but he's like, hey, like, if you're not going to give up on her, then maybe she does have... Skeptical, thank you.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah. And maybe she does have hope because you're like not going to give up on her. Which is
then she stands a chance. which is
that
gracious.
was cute. Yeah, I think that was nice of Giles to say, like, well, if you're looking out for her, then maybe she has a chance. That was sweet, I thought.
Yep.
So go to the mayor's office.
Yeah.
And he's getting ready to leave for the day. He goes to open the door, and guess who's there? Faith.
That surprised me a little. I'm not going to lie.
Did it? Yeah, and she says, oh, like, I killed your boy.
You sent your boy to kill me. He's dust.
And he's like, you know what? I figured since you're here and he's not. So I figured that you may have killed him. And Faith says, you know, I think that leaves a job opening that you like need to fill. So Faith wants a job with the mayor. So
what does that mean? What does that mean?
She wants to be his minion, I guess.
Oh my God. Okay, so she's going to the dark side, basically.
We'll have to see,
or is she going to be like a double agent? Wait, what is that?
Yeah, double agent. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to just wait and see.
I don't trust her.
Faith has had two like shocking endings. This one, and then Bad Girls when she was like, I just don't care. And then this one when she's like, hey, bad guy, big bad, I want to be on your side.
I can't like help but like I don't think Faith is going to be in this show forever. Like I just don't see it. I have a feeling they might like wrap up her character this season, but I don't know what they're going to do. They can't kill her off because then a new Slayer is going to be born or called for it or whatever. Called. Yes. Okay. Born, not born. But yeah, so I just don't really know what they're going to do with that, but I just feel like, I don't know. I have a feeling. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. So that was the end of the episode. Another like, what's going to happen with Faith episode. So, yeah, we're definitely setting up some big stuff for Faith coming, which has already happened, but you know, we're in episode 15. So yeah, we're getting close to the proverbial poo is being thrown slow-mo up to the fan. And soon it will splatter everywhere.
Okay, nice.
Yes. Okay, so my favorite quote was, I didn't have a lot to choose from.
No.
But I thought when Faith said that we are the law.
That was a good one, yeah.
And it is mirrored to a future quote as well. That's why I have the hindsight thing. So
okay.
Yeah, we are the law. So I thought that was.
What was your favorite scene?
The Giles, Buffy, Faith library scene when Faith throws Buffy under the bus, and then Buffy finds out that Giles didn't actually believe her. Like, again, any kind of like emotional turmoil, like Sarah Michelle Gellar can play it so well. Like the way she goes in there and she really thinks that like Giles thinks it's her. Like she looks so heartbroken.
Yeah. It's betrayed.
Yeah. Like, and then like, yeah, all of that. Like, I just thought it was really well acted. That was kind of like the shock of the episode. If you hadn't seen it before, you're like, Faith, she did what? Like, she totally just betrayed Buffy.
Oh, I texted you.
Yeah. Yeah.
In all caps.
Yeah. So that I think a clear frontrunner was that for me.
Okay. I think my favorite line was, does Evil take MasterCard?
Yeah, I hope Evil takes MasterCard.
I hope Evil takes MasterCard. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. It was good.
And then I had I'll say the same scene actually, my favorite scene, just because like especially too because Giles got me for like a half second because I thought he really did believe Faith, and I was like, what, Giles? No,
Giles, no,
yes,
that's true.
Exactly.
I would say a runner up would be Buffy and Faith at the docks when they're having that confrontation about it being in Buffy too. Buffy having that like innate
sinister
love of violence, or like love of killing. Yeah. So I thought that was the second kind of best scene.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So my stake rating was 4.
Generous. So
it was a 4. I put Angel's involvement. I feel like they had to just the contract.
It was like filler. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
They had to put him in there. Honestly, I feel like a more comparable comparison would have been her and Giles. Because remember, he was in that magic and like his friends started getting killed.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And he got like the magic, he was like getting really like engulfed in it and all of this, and it got out of control and everything. And yeah, I feel like that would have been a more comparable comparison than Angelus and Faith.
Yeah.
At this point. So I just thought, yeah, I feel like David Boreanaz was like, not him, but like his contract was like, gotta be in this episode. So let's put him in. Let's put him in this way. So I was like, on his involvement.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Was it Buffy again questions in a murder of someone? This is like the third time that she's been questioned by this cop for a murder at her house.
It's a small town, okay?
Yeah, it's a small town. He's like, I'm going back to Buffy Summers' house. Faith is unraveling, and her going to the mayor is a what moment?
I am curious to know what they do with that. I'll admit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I put Giles was good. I just like loved how he handled the whole situation. Like he didn't freak out either. Like he played the game because he knew that like they had to keep Faith thinking that everything was okay. Or that he believed her. And then like, yeah, him in the office talking to Buffy and everything was just, he was really good in this episode. I loved when he went behind Wesley and was like, she's a student.
Yes.
He dropped that little nice little bomb. He enjoyed it, I think. So Giles was Tony Head was like great in this episode. Yeah. I liked him.
Yeah, same. I gave it a 3.8, which I thought was generous.
Yeah, it is.
Very generous. So I liked a lot of what you said, but I also liked some of the stuff they did with I refer to him as New Giles.
Wesley. Yeah.
Yeah, like even in my notes it's NG, New Giles.
Yeah. Wesley
so I thought that comedic relief that they had with Cordelia, because it was really the only comedic relief they had in the whole episode, I feel like. So I did like that. And then I also like how they put him in his place. You know, like they're like, oh, you know, we shouldn't really do this thing. And then also like when he decided to capture Faith without like honestly knowing all the facts, like I feel like he just kind of overheard something and was like, oh, I'm going to take her over to England and get her, you know. I'm just like, so he got his comeuppance for that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, then speaking of him though, too, you were saying how like Buffy was afforded these opportunities as she was growing up. Like she had a better support system, she had a better family situation, whereas feels like Faith didn't really have that. We don't really know a lot about her.
Yeah, it doesn't seem likely.
No, but and like even so, like with when Giles got fired, they brought Wesley over immediately. Faith is still without a watcher. Like she's still not getting the support that she should be getting.
True.
She's a slayer, and they're just like leaving her out in the weeds, basically.
Yeah. True.
So that's kind of crappy for her too. So yes, an Angel, yes, all filler. I also like that they did kind of touch upon the fact that Faith and Xander had that connection, and Xander realized it wasn't a connection. I thought it was crappy the way she treated him when he came to talk to her.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. These people just keep giving her all these chances. I hope she does something with that.
Do you think she would have killed Xander?
I hope not. I'd like to think not.
It doesn't support like, oh, it was an accident and she just not dealing. Like she could have killed Xander as well.
Yeah.
Like I think there is something to Angel saying like she has a taste for it now. Which sometimes you're like, oh, come out, like a taste for it. Like she accidentally killed someone. She's not dealing with it mentally well. Yep. But after that thing with Xander, there might be something to that, you know? Because she knows her own strength. She knows she could kill him if she wanted to, like she said. And it looks like she really, like, when we saw Xander's neck later, like, was intense and, like, really hurt him. So, yeah, I don't know. She could have, for sure.
Yep.
I don't know. But, you know, I think that puts to bed, no pun intended, any possible romance between Faith and Xander.
Gone.
He was literally a vessel. He was a vessel. And well,
I feel bad for him because that was his first time, and I mean, it seemed enjoyable, which is good, but to have that kind of after effect is just not
Yeah, he realizes after that he was like purely being used.
Which
and
is
there wasn't anything like he didn't. I don't think he particularly. I'm sure he's attracted to Faith, but I don't think he particularly likes her personality or anything like that. But he thought there was something more, even on like some kind of mutual understanding than what there actually was, which was literally nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an ends to a means to an end.
Yeah, it means to an end. Yeah. So, well, we will see what happens. Little puzzle pieces are getting, or rather than puzzles, I'll say.
How many episodes do we have left? Chess pieces until the end.
Being moved. We are going to be on episode 16 and there's 22. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 6.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. All right.
Yep. All right. So our question for next week, the episode is called Doppelgangland.
Okay.
And I didn't come up with a very unique question this time. But somebody from the past comes back.
Oh, God.
So a character that we've met in the past makes another appearance.
Is this somebody who's alive?
Do you mean a ghost coming back?
Or like, I don't know, somebody who's died and come back? I don't know.
No.
Okay, somebody alive.
Yeah.
That's so broad.
I know. Sorry. I couldn't think of anything better, to be honest.
Somebody from the past.
A past character.
Buffy's dad? I know it's definitely not that, but I'm like, I don't know. We already did Amy. She's still a mouse or a rat or whatever.
Yeah.
And then everyone else I can think of that would come back as dead. So,
okay.
Sure. Buffy's dad.
Buffy's dad. Hank Summers.
I don't think that's it, but okay. Yeah.
Okay. We're going with Hank Summers. He should.
Yeah, but I don't think he will.
He needs to come back and...
Didn't even come for her birthday.
Oh.
Deadbeat dad.
Father of the year. Okay, so we will see what Doppelgangland's all about next week. So that wraps up Season 3, Episode 15, Consequences. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl in All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with Season 3, Episode 16, Doppelgangland. Slay real soon.
Bye.